Hello Internet, so nice to see you. I'm gonna answer all your music theory questions today, and if you have more, please write them down in the comments.
Would love to see you and Rick Beato do a video together. Both of you have taught me more about music theory in the past couple of years than I have in 18 years of playing guitar.
Well, tell you what, I would love to do a video with Rick Beato too, but if I just go to Rick and tell him, hey Rick, let's do a video together, he really doesn't know me. And so, here's what I'm thinking. You guys, a lot of you are both on this channel and on Rick Beato's channel. So if you, right now, go on Rick Beato's channel and write him a comment on any of his videos, hey Rick, why don't you do a video with Tommaso Zillia of musictheoryforguitar.com, then I'm pretty sure that he will do it if you tell him.
Is a tritone the same as an augmented fourth and a diminished fifth?
Mostly yes, but also no. So let me explain. So a tritone is an interval made of 3 tones, 3 whole steps, which means that if we start from C, one step gets to D, another full step gets to E, and another full step gets to either F sharp or G flat, which we know enharmonically they are the same note. It's the same frequency. So that's an interval of a tritone. Okay? Tritones, 3 whole tones. Diminished fifth, it's an interval of a fifth that I shrink by putting a flat on these notes. So yes, in this case, it's the same. An augmented fourth is an interval of a perfect fourth that I enlarge a little bit by putting a sharp here, so that it's the same. But you see that those two notes have the same name, and so typically those two intervals move in a different way in the context of music. This G flat will tend to move down because flat notes tend to move down when you see them in the context of a piece of music. Sharp notes will tend to move up, so this one will typically resolve by expanding, okay? So you use diminish fifth when you mean this interval that is going to contract. You use augmented fourth when you mean this interval that is going to expand, and you use tritone when you want to mean both those situations, and you just want to put the accent, just want to indicate that the interval is 6 semitones or 3 full steps.
Who has invented the myth that a song must contain verse, chorus, bridge, and so on?
Well, that's not really a myth. It is one of the possible forms of a song. So most of the songs, especially pop songs written today, most of, have this kind of form. Intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus 2 or 3 times, maybe an outro. It's not the only possible shape, not the possible form of a song. Songs can have other forms. One typical form of a song, for instance, is the strophic form. Think of any kind of blues song without a chorus. You have the 12-bar or the 8-bar chord progression repeated over and over and over, and people sing or play over those repeating 8 or 12 bar. That's another form. It doesn't have a verse, it doesn't have a chorus, or if you want, it's all verse, okay? And it's a great form, it works perfectly. It's not that because it has less element, it's less sophisticated. It's very good. It works on other things. It doesn't change the chord progression, or maybe a dynamic changes, maybe the arrangement changes, just the chord progression stays the same. Other pieces of music that are not songs, so for instance, symphonies, sonatas, fantasias, operas, etc., concertos, may have different forms that do not reflect this idea. So they definitely, a concerto definitely doesn't have a chorus or a verse. They have a different kind of structure. But this idea of the song having verse, chorus, and bridge, it's a very typical idea. It happens very often, and if you want to be a songwriter, you absolutely need to master this form before you think of modifying this form. Otherwise, you will not understand why you modify it, and you will not be able to use this idea to actually interest your listeners.
Who voices the questions in your Q&A videos?
Most probably a good text-to-speech computer app.
Well, guys, let me introduce you to my text-to-speech app. This is Camille.
Hello.
See, it's his voice, okay? Camille is one, hey, where are you going? Come here. Camille is one of my friends and is also a great bass player and is helping me doing all those videos. So, thank you, Camille.
What's phrasing? Is that a theoretical term your audience is supposed to know?
Phrasing is the difference between what you play and how you play it. So for instance, what you play could be 3 notes, C, D, and E. Phrasing is all those elements that we guitar players or with other instruments we can put in to make it actually sounds good. Okay, all these kind of things. So phrasing is made by bends, vibrato, pull-offs, hammer-ons, slides, and all those kind of things. That's what phrasing means. Now, some people though call phrasing another thing. They call how you, when you improvise a solo, how you divide your phrases, so you don't play a continuous stream of notes, but you make some rest here and there, or you hold a note for longer. That's another meaning of phrasing that some people are using. I just mentioning it for completeness, but when I talk about phrasing, I mean all those elements like bend, vibrato, slides, legato, hammer-on, pull-off, tapping, anything that it's how you play the note as opposed to what note you are actually playing.
Where can I buy your book, teacher?
Well, you're gonna find a link just right there, so you can click there and see all my instructional courses I have for sale. But beware, they are not book, they are video courses. And it's important that I mention that because I found in the years I've been explaining music theory and teaching people, and I found that just reading things from a book doesn't really work for music theory, or at least it works for a very, very small percentage of the population. Okay, let's be honest. A very few people do that. But even for those people, they're gonna learn faster if music theory is explained to them in a different way. A book, it's what they were using in the past because they had no videos. I'm pretty sure that if Beethoven could do it, was alive today, we'll have instructional videos by Beethoven. Same for all the other greats. I will kill for a video by Bach explaining what he was doing. Okay, books, that's what they had at the time, and it was the best they had. And just because that's what the best they had at the time, we got kind of stuck in this way of teaching. I think teaching is best on video because you can also hear the examples, see them played. It's a better way to communicate music theory, at least in my experience. So no, I'm never gonna write a book, okay? And no, my instructionals are not books, and that's the reason why.
Just curious, am I the only one that watches this channel a lot but isn't a guitar player? I feel like 90% of the videos are applicable to any musician.
No, you're definitely not the only one. I get email from piano players, singers, harp players, and any kind of instruments. I had a few more emails recently from saxophone players. Apparently some saxophone player discovered my channel and they're coming in mass. Okay, so now you're not the only one. And whenever I can, I'm trying to make things as general as possible and applicable to all instruments. Then again, I'm a guitar player. I'm a very lousy piano player. I'm horrible with any other instrument, honestly. So every time I explain, I also try to make it specific to guitar too, because that's what I like and that's what I want. And I also find that there is a lot of theory out there for piano, for instance, but there is very little theory done for guitar in the proper way. So that's also the mission of this channel, is to take theory, the theory, not the let's say reduced version that most guitar players get, usually take the real theory back to guitar. But yes, if you're not a guitar player, you can still watch all my videos and you're still getting a lot out of these. And no, you're not the only one.